In 2017, around March 3rd, my dad stood in line at a Best Buy and bought me a Switch with the neon red and blue controllers. Since then, I've enjoyed countless games and hundreds of hours of fun. I love my Switch, but I think it's time for something new. I started wondering what this thing is really capable of, and that led me straight down the rabbit hole of jailbreaking, custom firmware, themes, and even using the Switch as an emulation device. And since I now spend about an hour and a half on the bus every day going to school, I decided, yeah, I want to finally finish Ocarina of Time on my Switch. I've never beaten it before, and this feels like the perfect excuse.
Hey, real quick, editing maker here. This is my copy of the game, so don't worry about that. I do own this game. Anyway, back to the video.
You know a hobby has gone too far when, within a week, you've got 4 boxes of goodies, a screwdriver set, and a Switch sitting on your desk. Right now, all I need is the RCM jig, this tiny piece of plastic that somehow unlocks the true potential of the Switch. The other boxes, those are future problems. Like I said, the RCM jig lets me boot into custom firmware I installed on the microSD card. I have no idea how it works. Something something exploit something something unpatched, which basically just means my Switch is old enough to legally drive. But first, I need one of those boxes, specifically the microSD card I'm putting Hecate onto. Flashing this took a while, but once it was done, I popped it into the Switch, and now I'm ready for the RCM jig. Having the custom OS on the microSD card means I can always go back to the original Switch OS, since I never deleted it from the internal memory. If you want tutorials on how to do this, I linked it in the description. Booting into Hecate requires a USB cable that actually transfers data. And then you hold the volume up and power button while the Switch is completely turned off, then you use the software on your computer to boot into Hecate. And just like that, my Switch is officially hacked. Nice. After I created a backup, which took forever by the way, I could finally boot into the homebrew menu, and it looks exactly the same. Time to fix that. I downloaded NX Themes Installer from the Homebrew App Store, found a theme I liked on Themeser, and installed it using that theme's code. There we go. Much better. I grew up playing Wii and Wii U games with my sister, and those consoles hold a lot of great memories for me, so naturally, I wanted to put the Wii menu music on my Switch. Systune can do that. Quick download, upload the song, and it crashed. Alright, try it again. Okay, it crashed harder. At this point, I think it's crashing out of spite. But that's a future me problem. Maybe this is why every tutorial starts with, don't worry, you probably won't break your Switch. Alright, while Systune is busy ruining my day, time to focus on the main quest of this project. I found that with a program called Locka, you can install GameCube games to emulate on the Switch. Since my whole goal was to play Ocarina of Time, this seemed perfect. Another option was the Ship of Harkinian port, which looked great, but I'm running out of time and I just needed something that works. So Locka it is. To install Locka, you flash it onto the SD card, then boot into it from the Hecate menu. Super easy. You can install ROMs from your computer or over USB-C while the SD card is installed in the Switch. Then you just load up Locka and pick the ROM you want to play. You can overclock the Switch through Locka as well, but since I'm playing handheld, I'm not trying to fry my battery. Now, to boot it up. And it works! Honestly, I was expecting to troubleshoot for an hour, but no, it just worked. Nice! Now for the cosmetic mods. My sister gave me a new case for the JoyCons and the Switch back for my birthday, which is great, because the ones I have now are well loved. Don't worry, I'm not replacing the neon red and blue controllers, those stay stock forever, but I do have another pair I'll be using, and they come with the added bonus of Joy-Con drift, so I'll be fixing that too. Time for the goodie boxes. First step, disassemble the Joy-Con and remove all the electronics. Pretty simple, except the right Joy-Con has a bit more going on. Then I put everything into the new case along with the buttons. The kit came with some custom colored face buttons and triggers, so that took some assembly too. I also swapped the stock joysticks for Hall Effect ones to eliminate the stick drift completely. Once both Joy-Cons were reassembled, which took about 2 hours, I moved on to the back plate. 8 screws, transfer a few components, new plate on, easy. With the hardware looking fresh, it's time to step back and see what I'd actually created. After a week of researching, tinkering, and questioning my life choices, I can now say I have the ultimate Switch. Or a very expensive and very fancy paperweight. Time will tell. And whether this becomes my new favorite console or just a cool paperweight, modding it was super fun. I would totally recommend this if you have a Switch and want something new to do with it. I linked all the tutorials I used in the description if you want to try any of this for yourself. I hope you're having a great day enjoying life. This is the Random Maker signing off. Goodbye.